Tiny Tarot. Hey, hey, what have you got to say today? I am Christina Smart, aka Low Key Magical. How are you guys doing today? And I am here with my sassy little deck of tarot cards to ask the hard questions, the pertinent questions, questions that are on everyone's mind, but sometimes you really don't know who to ask at this point. Tiny Tarot is going to help us out with that today. Again, thank you so much for being here in our little very exclusive tarot club, as I like to call it. We don't have a quadrillion followers, but that doesn't matter. We're getting fantastic messages from tarot, and if you are on board, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. You are getting wonderful information. And if you look back on the channel, if you're new to us, my reads are timeless. So you can look back and find a subject within the Tiny Tarot podcast list and watch it today, and you're going to get as much from it as I did the day that I did the read. I learn from every one of these reads, and I even go back and watch my own from time to time because I will forget what the message was, and I'll listen to it and go, oh, hey, that was pretty good. Wonderful. So the platforms that we are on for short forms, we have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and then our long form podcast here is on YouTube. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. It helps our channel grow. I would love the growth, but again, if it stays our secret little tarot group, Tiny Tarot group, that's fine with me too. Welcome to the club. All right, so today we are going to be talking about health and wellness. That's something that's on everybody's mind all the time. I know it's more and more in the media, but I think it should be because it's something that I have struggled with over my lifetime. I have mentioned before in my podcast that I've lost quite a bit of weight through my journey. And then I've also struggled with autoimmune disorders and some mystery illnesses, as some of us have, or kind of, what do they say, canaries in the coal mine. When the environment gets a little weird, we are the first ones to feel it and to experience it and to see it manifesting in our body as physical symptoms. So we're going to talk to Tiny Tarot today just about that. Just a little bit more information that I'm hoping to get channeled in that can help us understand the process, how we deal with it as individuals. It's one thing to see changes in the collective, that's great, but that collective change starts as an individual person. So we are going to, as always, I have shuffled the deck and I have divided it into 3 separate piles, and we're going to use the magical little die. So Tiny Tarot, hey, hey, help us get a message on health and wellness today. Ooh, and we have stack number 3. All right, so in our current position, ooh, this is fantastic, the 9 of Cups. And this always says things are better than what you think they are. Okay. Thanks a lot, Tiny Tarot. It says, first of all, here's the way I like to see the 9 of Cups. Is that, and I've explained this before, he's like a baker. He's been working his whole life, perfecting his craft. That's the way that I would say it. And then a group comes to him and they say, we'd like you to bake for this party, and you will be the best at it for sure. And then he just goes all out and does his absolute best job. And then when he gets to the party, he finds out that the party is actually for him. And so one of the first things that Tiny Tarot says is stop feeling like everything is against you. Okay, so a lot of the messages that we get are that the environment and everything are so unhealthy that you cannot help but be unhealthy. And this is kind of the opposite. And it's saying that the construct and the earth is here to help you be your best self. It really is. This is not a place where you just can't help it. From now on, you're going to be sick, and the construct and everything around you has been put together to make you sick, and you are just against a force that's stronger than what you can even come up against. This is the opposite of that. This says all of the work that you have done has been in the right direction and for a good reason, and it's not for nothing. And you have a lot more support and love coming towards you to be healthy, to be your full self than you realize. That's kind of like a breath of fresh air right there. These cups represent our heart, and there are 9 cups in this picture, okay? And that is one of those magical numbers, 369, that builds on itself. And we always, when we start with cups, it's about recognizing where you are currently doing well. All right, there may be some dis-ease, but let's find the good things that are there and recognize the ease and the help that you have had to get yourself to this point, whether you are staying and maintaining health or you are working your way back from illness. There is always more around you in support of that than what you realize, but often we just don't recognize it. And I can say that from my own perspective. On the days where my illnesses were at their absolute worst, it just felt like this is how it's going to be from now on. Nothing is working in my favor. It feels as if the entire world has been set up to make me sick and keep me sick. And Tiny Tarot says it may seem that way, but if you really understand the construct and the way things that are put together, your experience is to be one of the healthiest that you can be. That's the intention, to enjoy as much as you can, to enjoy the experience in your body. So that's a tough one for me, because I have often felt that I am working against my body, that my body has a complete different agenda than what I have. And goodness, to get the message right out of the gate that you and your body are on the same team, even when it feels like you're not. Thank you, Tiny Tarot. I appreciate that. There's more love coming from what may seem like illness to you. There's more love and messages of you're doing great coming from your body than you may realize or be able to feel at the time. But the work that you have done to cultivate the health that you have, even if it's not at its peak, is so appreciated. Understand that the party really is for you. So turn more towards the party and less towards regret. Excellent. I do love that. Thank you, Tiny Tarot. So we're going to help define this more by moving on to our crossing energy. Oh, absolutely. The crossing energy is this Nine of Swords. Look at that. That is, the swords represent our thoughts, okay? And how fast moving our thoughts are. And our thoughts can be very cutting. You realize that. And this Nine of Swords is someone that has literally been up at night with worry and with regret and with fear of the future. And this is where you are when you're in a place of ill health, especially if it's an illness that you have professionals around you saying, yeah, we're really not sure what's causing all of this. Could be this, could be that. Let's throw something at it and see if it sticks. I don't know if any of you have been in that situation before. You get tired of hearing it, and you do start sitting up at night and going, I have no idea. I'm not the one with the medical degree. How am I supposed to figure this out? Am I going to be sick forever? Is this just some kind of mystery thing that, yay, only I have? Is this something that anyone is going to be able to help me with? And this is also about just those sleepless nights where you absolutely do not know what's going to happen next. So that is where I was, to tell you the truth, more than once. The crossing energy is that feeling that it may not ever stop. If you look at those nine, I mean, look at how many swords are there. And if you envision each of those swords just piercing over and over again with repetitive thought of illness, 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 or I'm always going to be overweight. Everything around me is working against me. Maybe my body just doesn't even want to be here. Like that's exactly what we have as a crossing energy. Man, that is dead on. That we go back. Tiny Tarot says immediately. Now let's look at that current energy again with that Nine of Cups. That's not the case. It may feel like that's the case, but it is not the case. And this is where we have to take responsibility to get a hold on our thought process. Even when around us, it may not reflect what we want it to be yet. If you are in the throes of illness, it is difficult to maintain hope that you are ever going to feel better. Okay? And you may even have someone in a white coat or someone that seems very knowledgeable telling you. You may not get better, but Tiny Tarot says there's always an aspect that is within your power to change how you feel about things, even if the evidence is to the contrary. And I'm being very careful in the way that I'm wording this, because I'm not saying, well, your bad thoughts lead to bad health. That's not necessarily the case, okay? Sometimes the ebb and flow of energy is just that. We happen to cross with illness. We happen to cross with negative things that happen to us. I am not one of those that says, well, she got sick because she attracted it. I absolutely do not believe that. Sometimes you step in a puddle and you didn't mean to. Sometimes you come across bad weather and you did not mean to. Sometimes there's a tornado on the horizon and you have to take shelter. It has nothing to do with this is a reward or this is a punishment. Ooh, once again, we get into that. I had that same kind of religious programming that, oh, if you're a good person and you live life a certain way, you will not encounter negative experiences. And that is 100% not true. That turns into us trying to appease something that we don't quite understand in order to get life to go the way that we want it. Sometimes you're going to get exposed to a germ. Sometimes you get exposed to something as a child that hangs with you for a long time. Sometimes you wind up living in a moldy house and you didn't know it. Sometimes you got exposed to a chemical that you didn't know was there because somebody was not telling the truth. But the energy of this is, despite that, there is still a mental state that you can achieve where you are not constantly beating yourself up over it and you are not landing squarely in despair as your day-to-day experience. Oh, wow. That's a big one for me, because that is a place where I have lived, I'll tell you, sometimes for long periods of time. And in our shadow, and this is, this was a lot like our finance one, the shadow is the Chariot. And that's when we said before, that ability to make it all better right now. Or the desire to make it all better right now. I want the ability to wake up tomorrow perfectly healthy, and I have the desire to wake up tomorrow perfectly healthy. I want it to be fast, and I want it to happen immediately, or else I'm a failure, or else this will never get better. And the Chariot says everything takes time along its trajectory. We look at the Chariot, it's a fast moving card, okay? And it has the two sphinxes there that represent the balance between order and chaos. And I've said before, the Chariot is best represented as the teenager that first gets their driver's license and then just wants to go, go, go. And of course, when we feel poorly, we want to feel better, and we want to feel better now. When I was 160 pounds overweight and I saw that on the scale, and I got so depressed that I quit weighing myself, so I could have been even heavier than what was on the scale, but I refused to look anymore. I wanted to wake up the next day and have all of the weight off immediately. That's how bad I felt. And that's not the way that it works. It takes time to become ill. It takes time to put on that much excess weight. It's going to take time to reverse the process. So patience, not only with the process of healing, but patience with our own thought process, patience with ourselves when we are stuck in that Nine of Swords place, where we don't feel hope around us at the moment. Even if there's really wonderful, supportive, loving people around us saying, this is going to get better. You know that there are things that we can do to help you. You know that you can accept the help that's being offered, and it does not make you less. Oh, goodness. That's a tough one. For those of us that have been so independent for so much of our lives, and we are suddenly dependent upon others, oh, that's hard. And so I understand how this shadow of the Chariot comes up, because we want it different, and we want it different today. But that isn't how we got into our illness necessarily. It could be an accident that gets you into an illness. 100% that can happen quickly. But a healing process is going to take longer than that. You can break a bone like that, but for that bone to heal takes time. There is a process to it. If you want it to heal correctly, you don't just jump up and start running marathons 2 days into getting your cast on. That would absolutely wreck everything, wouldn't it? So our shadow is that desire to be impatient, the desire to be healthy tomorrow, and the resistance to assistance. Resistance to assistance. That would be a good name for the podcast, but here we're doing health and wellness. But yes, resistance to assistance comes right in there, and I'm one of those as well. I want to be able to say 100% did it on my own, and I feel weak when I have to accept certain help that I didn't need before. And that's not an energy that moves the process forward. So you can almost think of the black and white on the chariot as there are some thoughts and actions that are going to help you feel that you are progressing quickly, and there are some thoughts and actions that are going to cause you to feel like you're taking steps back. And sometimes that is the healing process. We feel better some days and then not so good some days. The tests come back great, the tests come back not so great. Yesterday I was thinking this, but now I realize that's going to be, I set a goal for myself to be able to take hikes again by this date, but my body said, no, you're not ready to do that yet, and that's perfectly okay. We can't really set that clock of how quickly we heal on our own. So then we go into our assisting energy. The assisting energy, we get the judgment card. And if you notice on the judgment card, there is an angel with a horn, okay? And this angel is blowing this horn in the vibration of what is true. He's blowing that horn so clearly into truth that the people beneath him are naked, like it blows their clothes completely off. They cannot be anything but 100% who they are in the vibration of truth. So once again, this is about that constant negative talk that we have in that Nine of Swords. That's not the vibration of truth. And when we can really look and tune ourselves to the truth of what is desired, we can understand the pacing that we need to take. We understand the possibility of healing is there. We understand that help is there for us. These are true statements. When you find those true statements, but you don't use them as a way to belittle yourself. Well, this is just me being realistic. I'm never going to be the same again. This is just me being realistic. Help makes me weak. I am resistant to this assistance. Okay, those are not, I'm just being truthful and realistic. That's not the same energy of, let's look at the truth. Bodies are set up to be able to heal. Regardless of what your age is or what you're being told, your body has systems in place to heal. Let's support those systems with more truth. It is okay for me to ask for help when I need it. It is okay for me to say yes to some things and then say no to some obligations because I do not feel it today. Maybe there was a big family reunion planned and I'm too weak to go. I don't have to fake it and make myself feel terrible over it. I can say, today I am resonating with the truth of I am taking care of myself and I am not ready for that step yet. Today I am resonating very deeply in the truth of who I am, and guess what? I need some help. I don't feel like I can do this on my own today. I don't feel like I can get out of this Nine of Swords and have any positive thought today. Can someone please help me? Because I know that the truth is different than this. Can any time that you feel like you are beating yourself up with the truth, that is not the assisting energy of this judgment card. We have to be discerning on what we allow ourselves to dive into mentally, regardless of what the physical state is. You can be in a physical state of misery, but you can turn your attention towards the truth that you know is there, that this will be temporary for me. That some days, yes, they are worse than others. And maybe this bad day is leading to a better day in a few days. And I can ask for help and I can tell the truth. I don't have to pretend that I feel better than I do. Wow, that's a big one. I don't have to pretend to others that, now again, you share what you share with the people that you trust. And we all have those people in our lives that'll be like, oh, are you not feeling very good? I heard you weren't doing very good. I'm so happy to see you're up and around because I was worried that, you weren't doing very good. You don't have to share all of your truths with those people. You know the energy of the people that are truly there to assist you. And that truly, when they say, I'm praying for you, that they are. They're not just going 11 prayers and then they just walk away and forget that you ever existed. You know who the people are in your life that have a vested interest in your success on your health journey. And you also know the people that do not have a vested interest on your health journey. And those are the people that will bully you into having dessert or bully you into going to an event that you are not physically ready to go to, or will sit there and go, oh, I really liked it before you got sick. It was so much better. We did more fun things. Those people do not need to hear your deep truths. You don't have to share these things with those people. This is where, see that judgment blowing that horn? You get to decide who's around you now. And I'm not going to be around fake people during my health journey. There's some things that were made very clear to me when I was sick over a long period of time. You figure out who's really there to support you and who's not. You figure out who's being truthful and who isn't. You figure out who's just there trying to get money out of your wallet because they're not even sure what's wrong with you either. But hey, give me 15 grand and we'll try this. Like, absolutely not. You start using that discernment, blowing that horn of truth, not just internally, but it changes everything around you as well. You kind of cut through the chaff, as it were, and get down to the nitty-gritty of truth. The truth is that I don't want to put trash in my body anymore. The truth is that after some social interaction, I need a lot of rest. The truth is that I may require more sleep than some people do. The truth is I can't eat bioengineered food. It messes with me. The truth is, right? And you're not asking everybody else to take your truth. It's not like when you stop smoking and now you're like, well, nobody should be, or someone that decides to be vegan and then they harass the rest of the world about being vegan. It's not like that. It's like you understand individually that you have to make some changes. You are going to stick to those changes. And if the people around you don't respect that, then the people around you are going to change, meaning that you're just not going to be around them anymore. And you're going to choose to be around the people that are truly loving, truly supporting of your health journey, truly understanding with a heart that resonates with your best self as well. It isn't just words being spoken. It isn't superficial care. I no longer tolerate that superficial pretend care that some people give. Love and light. I'll pray for you. It's like, no, I want someone who really loves me to say, I'm going to put some thought into holding space for your wellness. And you know who those people are in your life. And then those close people that, hey, let's say you're having trouble walking and you need to be able to get up to go from here to the bathroom, and you know that person's going to carry you from here to there because they love you, because they're trained to. Maybe you have staff at home that's helping you care for yourself. You don't have to be mean to those people. They're there because they're getting paid to be there, but they're also there because they are good caregivers. And if you have a bad caregiver, you can insist on a better one. Whoa, this horn of judgment is powerful. And it says, blow that truth. Blow that horn. Insist on that vibration of authenticity on your healing journey. And don't feel like you have to be a poser for anyone else, and do not tolerate posers in your presence. 100%. Wow, that was a really powerful one. I like that one. And in our resisting energy, of course, it's the Three of Swords. Dang. Tiny Tarot is getting right to the heart of it. The Three of Swords is, things would have been perfect if it weren't for this. Things were going great until this happened. The Three of Swords is that it feels like third-party interference energy that literally breaks your heart. If it hadn't been for this unexpected illness, I would be so much further along on my journey than I am right now. That's what, I mean, I was thinking that if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have gained some weight back that now I've got to work to get off again. If it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be walking with the cane. If it wasn't for this, we wouldn't have all these medical bills. Like, you can throw in whatever it is, but it's something that you felt like you had no control over that just came flying in like an arrow and pierced through what was a great, balanced, or maybe you felt like you were teetering right on the edge, and then this thing happened and it just knocked you right over the edge and took you out. So the resistance is, I didn't have any control over that, and that means I don't have any control over what's happening in my future. It could happen again, for all I know. I've got nothing to look forward to, because here comes more. Like, that's the resisting energy, is the fear of that continued heartache, the fear of that continued illness, the fear of that continued helplessness, and the fear of the unknown. And we do not have to, again, it goes right back to the 9 of Swords. We do not have to sit and wallow in that thought process of the heartache. Absolutely grieve. I have grieved over what happened to me plenty, and I had to give myself permission to grieve instead of bucking up against it. I thought everyone around me needed to see constant positivity all the time, and I could only grieve in solitude, and I could only grieve like that 9 of Swords. Like at night when everybody went to bed, I would just cry and cry and cry, because I wasn't really giving myself the permission to say, by the way, everyone, I am grieving over this, and it's okay that I am, but don't worry, I'm not going to stay there. This isn't going to be me forever. And then my loved ones would say, you know what, grieve as long as you need to grieve. We're not expecting you to get up and start running tomorrow. It's all right. Just like with that chariot. You may feel like people are going to stop loving you if you don't get up and get better by tomorrow. Not the case at all. Not the case at all. We are loved. And again, with that judgment, we know when those words are sincere and when they're not. We can tell sincerity from insincerity. We can tell true care from false care. And we can say, guess what? Today I don't feel like it. Today I am grieving. Today I have this 3 of Swords feeling that something else is going to come in and just knock me off my feet. And so what if it does? So what if it does? If we have the right care in place, we know what's happening, we still have love for our body, despite what it's going through, trying to keep us as healthy as possible. We are making better choices as we move on. We do not have to have this fear of the rug being pulled out from under us at any moment. And that's taken a while for me to get there, to be honest with you, because I have had some setbacks. But I do not live anymore in the constant 3 of Swords energy. I understand that there are up days and down days, and I give myself that grace. Give yourself the grace to be at your best, not at your best, okay? And give yourself the sovereignty, like we talk about, to be able to dictate who I want around me and who I don't. This is how things are going to be from now on. I can say with authority, this is my healing process. I'm going to own it. And if you're not sincere when you come to me, out, because this 3 of Swords definitely isn't going to come from you, whoever that is. You're not going to be the one that comes in and ruins what I've already worked so hard. Okay? You're not going to be someone that always sees me as sick or says, why aren't you better yet? Like, both of those are awful. Both of those are awful. But this resisting energy is that fear of that continued heartache, and also viewing what has happened to us as uncontrollable, as the possibility of it happening again, and that it may not be something that you can effectively grieve, but that's okay. It's okay to grieve over those things and then say, and now I am moving forward. And now I am continuing to be my true self. And now I am setting very high standards for my own care. Ooh, that's a really good one. And then as we move forward, here is the 5 of Pentacles, okay? And here's the way we're going to see this card. I normally don't read in reverse, but I want you to understand something about the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is a card that feels like lack. Okay? There are people that are a little bit, they're literally sick in this. I love this. They are literally sick on the face of this card. But right behind them is a beautiful stained glass cathedral that is warm, it is well lit, it is offering help. They are turning their back on that help because they don't want to compromise who they are in order to receive that help. So in this position, Tiny Tarot is saying, receiving help and healing does not have to come at a cost. You do not have to turn your back on what is there for you simply because you want things to be the way that they've always been. So in this future position, it says, accept the help. It does not make you less. Accept the warmth. It does not make you less. Accept the shelter. It doesn't mean that you have to change your belief system in order to make things better for yourself. Getting help is okay. Not being perfect is okay. Walking with crutches is okay. Do you see that? That is exactly it. Going through an illness process is perfectly okay. It's right there behind you. Turn around and accept it. Turn around and accept this Nine of Cups that is the truth. Normally with this Five of Pentacles, it's about, well, there's money right there, but I really don't want to accept it because it would mean I would have to change the way that I do things. And in this case, again, this is earth energy. If you want your experience on this earth to be what you intend, that's a lot of internal work, but it may not physically look like you expect it to look. I'm not going to be running a 5K anytime soon. My body is different than it was, and I can take that in two ways. I can go, well, I'm just going to feel sorry for myself. I'm going to wallow in this Nine of Swords. I'm going to wallow in this Three of Swords. I'm going to refuse help from anyone. And I'm just going to go forward in the worst state that I could possibly move forward, not expecting things to get better. Or I could choose to turn around and see things differently. I could see that right there, there's so much more that this earth has to offer than just what my goals were about hiking and running a 5K. There's so much more love there. There's so much more warmth there. There's so much more offering there than I am willing to see should I just define myself as a sick person going forward. So in this future position, it says absolutely, for once in your life, turn around and look and see everything that's there for you. It's your choice. This future says we have a choice. We do not have to accept what we feel like has been placed upon us, but it takes a difference in perspective. It takes a change in perspective, and that comes internally. So regardless of where your healing state in your body is, you've got to guide that with where your eyes choose to go. Where do I choose to look for myself? If I only define healing success by those same parameters that I had before I was ill, I'm constantly going to feel like a failure. But if I'm willing to change my perspective and say, well, now my goals are X, Y, Z, and plus I'm going to have a huge appreciation for some things that I did not appreciate before. 100%. I am willing now to accept help when I need it. I'm willing to ask for help when I need it. I'm willing to set goals and standards for myself realistically. I am willing to set higher expectations of who I have around me. I set higher expectations for the food that I put into my mouth. I set higher expectations for the media that I consume, okay? I am not just going to hover into a shawl and hobble my way into, I want to say, feeling sorry for myself. That's one of the things that can happen. That sounds a little bit harsh, but it's been clear to me that I've had choices, that I could just define myself as a sick person and wither away from here on out, even though I'm not that old. But I realized strongly that that was not the direction that I wanted to go. I wanted to turn around. I wanted to see the light and warmth behind me. I wanted to see what was being offered was healing and warmth and comfort. Just that comforting love that was there for me that I really did not want to see because I was so disappointed in the way that things had gone because it wasn't my plan. See, the Five of Pentacles is, yeah, well, that helps there, but that wasn't my plan. And I'm going to insist on moving forward this way because this was my plan. Fantastic. Tiny Tarot says, look, maybe plans have changed, but everything you need is still there. Obviously, with this Nine of Cups, the love is there, the support is there, and you are there to offer that to yourself as well. Tiny Tarot says it. Tiny Tarot, hey, this has been a wonderful message today, and you have a magical rest of your day.